San Antonio. Brandon Medina and Michael Jimenez are the Fantasy Gods. Brought to you by RDK Advisors.
Good morning, San Antonio. I hope you're ready for a beautiful Sunday, a plentiful Sunday full of fantasy football goodness. My name is Brandon Big Papi Medina. That is Michael Jimenez. We are the Fantasy Gods, and we are live on ESPN San Antonio and also live on Facebook Live on ESPN San Antonio. Go hit us up there. Send in your fantasy questions. However, with that being said, Michael Jimenez, my tag team partner, how are you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, and we're gathered here to celebrate this thing called life, to celebrate this thing called fantasy football. Week 5, excited but scared because of today's developments.
Absolutely. Today's developments have been a whirlwind. And when we say today's developments, it is legitimately a few hours ago. All of this is happening as we go. We could still get breaking news while we're doing this show. So be on the lookout, be watchful. League managers, do your due diligence to make sure that your league is as I guess fluid as possible during these times. And with that, Michael Jimenez, what kind of updates do we have about today's fantasy football schedule?
Oh, well, today's schedule, the Denver Broncos and New England Patriots will not be playing today. In fact, they will not be playing this week. So if you have any Broncos players, Patriots players in your lineup, immediately get them out because that game is being postponed until next week. And they're going to be forcing other teams into a bye. From what I understand, the Miami Dolphins next week will be on a unscheduled bye. It's getting a little bit scary out there. This has happened in back-to-back weeks. There's also some issues going on with the Tennessee Titans as well. They had another person test positive. I don't know if it was a player or if it was just somebody on the staff, but now that game, which was scheduled for Tuesday, is kind of up in the air. So we may need to look for replacements on that game as well, which I believe is against the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, the Titans have already been warned, I believe, that they might be facing some punishment because of it. I mean, this has been a lot of Titans talk when it comes to COVID-19. It seems like they're the main team that's being affected. However, like always, guys, we care about people's health more than fantasy football. Let's be honest. However, we are still talking about fantasy football. So if you have those questions, give us a call. 210-656-ESPN, 210-656-3776. You're live with the Fantasy Gods. So with that, let's talk a little bit about today's schedule, Michael. We have my Minnesota Vikings playing Sunday Night Football. I have the Randy Moss jersey up for good luck already. We're talking hopefully Justin Jefferson has a big game. We're talking people like that. How excited are you for today? And is there anybody that maybe you're looking at streaming now that we know about the Denver Broncos and the New England Patriots?
Yeah, so you're taking a look at you have some pretty good quarterbacks that might be out. Tannehill might be out this week. Josh Allen might be out this week. And that's if that Tuesday game is out. And now I doubt anybody was starting any of the starters from the Patriots or Broncos, but I'm taking a look at that Tuesday game as well. If I'm going to stream a quarterback right now, Gardner Minshew, if he's available, or one of the rookies, okay? We've been talking about Joe Burrow. We've been talking about other young quarterbacks out there that are making a mark right now. If they're available or on your bench, Justin Herbert, if he's on your bench, put him in.
Yeah, and I think, you talk about people may not have been starting them. However, I disagree. I think Jerry Jeudy was somebody was looking for a flex or a start spot. If you picked up Damian Harris, you were probably really struggling at running back, and maybe you were looking to start them as well. So I think there is a possibility that some people were starting, maybe a Julian Edelman, maybe a Jerry Jeudy, stuff like that. Obviously, there's plenty of wide receivers to go off of. Greg Ward's probably the number one pickup for me for Philadelphia. He's getting absolutely targeted every single time. Carson Wentz favorite target. He's playing basically the only wide receiver role. No Deshaun Jackson, no Alshon Jeffrey. I will say if you're in a deeper league, I've done this plenty of times already. I would definitely go, and if you have a weak player on your bench, try to stash somebody who's maybe on the IR coming back. I know I stashed Alshon Jeffrey a couple times. I stash some people that are coming back from that week 1 IR, maybe next week or the week after. Start looking for that. Maybe that can build up some bench. But yeah, I agree. I think Denver and New England, nobody was really starting anybody out the gate. I don't think nobody had Jerry Jeudy as their wide receiver 1. If you did, you probably either are really stocked up on running backs or had a really awful draft. So with that, I think you're not going to be as affected. However, this Titans-Buffalo game could definitely be affecting people? I mean, I know you have Devin Singletary. A lot of people have Josh Allen. What happens then with that game? Well, do you think could this be a week where you lose your matchup due to COVID-19?
Yes, very much so. A lot of us, because in the prior weeks, we've had one game affected. Now we're looking at the possibility of two. And okay, so some games we've had multiple games affected in a week, but they've been able to play at least one of them. And now if we have 4 teams that are suddenly out, that's a big deal. The Bills, you have a lot of players that people have on their roster, man. Not only Josh Allen and Devin Singletary, but Stefan Diggs. Cole Beasley's having a pretty decent year. I make fun of him all the time. Yeah, John Brown has had his time. Come on, man. What about those guys who drafted Derrick Henry? Ooh. Like me in my media league? Oh my God, this would be back-to-back weeks where I potentially might have him. Now I will let you know again, they have not canceled that Bills Tennessee game. It's just wow. It's a big possibility, especially after the Patriots and Broncos has been canceled or pushed back a week.
Yeah, and not only that, it already got pushed back to Tuesday, which we've never seen before.
Yeah.
And then the Tennessee is now coming down with more positive tests, regardless of who became positive. This is definitely a sketchy situation where Tennessee really might be losing out on 2 games. I don't know how it's going to work into scheduling. I do think we might need a week 18 to really get things back on track. But with that, is for the guys that have Derrick Henry, or maybe they have AJ Brown or Jonnu Smith, should you start throwing trades their way? Maybe they're getting tired of this Tennessee offense already and this Tennessee team that's come down with COVID. You start throwing some feelers out there to see, hey, you know what? I'll take over the risk. You get a player you can play now.
Yes and no. Okay, so I would understand if you're frustrated and you're having to play your RB4 or RB3 as an RB1. Yeah, I understand that. The thing is that because these teams have already, quote unquote, gone past their bye, they're not going to hopefully not miss any more games the rest of the year once this all clears up. Okay, that's one of the things that we look at in week 8, week 9, and week 10 is we start taking a look like which of our players has had buys, and you have to strategize around that. But if Derrick Henry, he might be from week 6 on in the lineup the entire way. So that's a positive thing. You mentioned stashing up on people from IR. Le'Veon Bell is somebody who was brought back onto the roster. Don't know how much he's going to play or whether he's going to be worth it, but he is a name. He does oftentimes get 10 to 15 touches. Le'Veon Bell's probably available in your league, and it's just I wouldn't want to play him, but there are worse players to have on the back end of your roster.
Yeah, and somebody you want to be on the lookout to move around in your lineup. Julio Jones is out today, so make sure you get Julio Jones out. Russell Gage in if you have him. I know I have him in plenty of leagues, and he has not been too great the past 2 weeks, but with Julio Jones out, a lot of opportunity for Russell Gage. Now, with that, let's get into our first segment, if you will, Michael. I know we were a little long-winded because a lot of COVID news. However, let's get into our first segment called Blessed He Who Starts.
Blessed is he who starts.
Who are you looking to absolutely 100% positively start today, Michael?
Okay, I already mentioned his name, Gardner Minshew. And I will be honest with you, I am not a big Gardner Minshew fan. Okay, I am late to the party. The train has passed and I didn't get on. Okay, but the fact of the matter is, you look at his stats the last 3 weeks, he is averaging 42 passing attempts. Okay, that's not Dak Prescott 50 or 60, but still a quarterback that throws the ball 42 times. That's not bad. He's playing against a Houston Texans team that is just disintegrating, right? Hasn't won a game all year, giving up more than 30 points a game. Gardner Minshew, put him down for at least 280 and 3 scores, man. He's going to have a decent game today.
I hope so, because he is in our listener league. And if you were playing me, Gardner Minshew is my starter. So that's what I'm talking about. I know for me, somebody I am very excited to watch play, and it should come to no surprise to anybody. Lots of purple going on in my little box here. Justin Jefferson, to me, is a must start today against Seattle. I think Justin Jefferson has proved himself. We don't see this much. You don't see back-to-back 100 games from rookies. You know that, Mike.
Right.
So this is something special. It's something that Kirk Cousins, if you're looking to stream a quarterback, or maybe your quarterback depth is just depleted, and there's some leagues where people like to take up 3 quarterbacks and use them as trade pieces, whatever the case. If Kirk Cousins is there later on in the year when there's an easy matchup, he's somebody to look at because he now has a wide receiver 2 to go to. Before, he only had Adam Thielen. Now we've seen the the open gameplay with Justin Jefferson involved. I like Justin Jefferson. However, my number one start of the week is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's going against Las Vegas. Very awful defense against the run. Clyde Edwards-Helaire will be getting great touches, has been absolutely an important part of that offense. I think he's going to be a great pickup to play. And obviously you were starting him anyways, but keep him starting. And this is probably the last time, this day, week 5, is the last time you're going to be able to submit any offer to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, because I think the rest of the way he's going to be going off. So if you're looking to trade, start trading. And with that, I know we have a question actually about Calvin Ridley. Ask Bradley Duran said, expecting a big day out of Ridley with Julio out.
Okay, I'm going to say yes, but the scary thing about it is this. You take a look at some of the stats that some of these players are doing right now, and they're just absolutely insane, right? Like Dak Prescott is on track for more than 6,500 yards passing, rather. Calvin Ridley is on track for like 20 touchdowns, right? To expect them to keep at this pace is not normal, but this isn't a normal season either. So I would say it's just like a blackjack table. He's been hot, and you don't leave that blackjack table until it cools down. Keep playing Ridley. He has to be in no matter what.
I agree. And what's funny is Bradley is actually in one of my leagues. I know my man Bradley, and he actually traded for Calvin Ridley. So good trade for you. Yeah. He pounced on the goose egg and said, let me throw some offers that way. And he got Calvin Ridley. So yeah, I think he has a big day. And our good friend of the show, Self Tanksley, asked, what up, fellas? Trusting Crowder with Darnold out or Dearness Johnson? Ow. Oh, I like this. I like this a lot. I am still trusting Crowder 100%. I think he's the only viable wide receiver there in New York. But Dearness Johnson's getting touches over there, and he might be playing the Kareem Hunt role while Kareem Hunt's playing Nick Chubb.
Yeah, so I would pick Dearness Johnson on this one, and I'm going to say it reluctantly because Crowder obviously is the better player. All things being considered, if Darnold was playing, I would pick Crowder, but if he's not there, and obviously Chubb's not playing for the Browns this week, the problems you have with Cleveland is they're going up against a really good defense this week. So I don't mean – so that's why I'm saying I'm hesitant to say Johnson, but I'm going to pick that anyway because he's probably going to have at least 12 to 15 touches, and I don't know what we're going to get out of Jets' backup quarterback.
Yeah, and one more question from himself. We got Mike Thomas or Joshua Kelly, flex, non-PPR. Man, are you going Joshua Kelly? I feel like you're going Joshua. I think I'm going to go Joshua Kelly just because I'm nervous that Michael Thomas does not play this game. If anything, I have taken him out of every lineup I have simply for the fact if I'm the Saints, you're not playing awful. Why would you risk Michael Thomas this week when he can just get healthy one more week? Mm-hmm. So I think Joshua Kelly's probably the play.
Okay. You're talking to somebody who started Scotty Miller this week.
Awful.
And got a big donut. I don't even know if he was in the game or not because they declared him that he was going to play. I watched that game. I didn't see him on the field at all. So now I'm going up against our listener league, 8 against 9. Still confident, but I'm 8 against 9 this week, okay? And the fact of the matter is that you do not want to have that donut there. And it's kind of weird whenever you have a questionable player on Monday Night Football, because they're not going to tell you until the very end. And by then, Joshua Kelly would have already played.
Exactly. And that's why I'm just taking the safe route. I do in both leagues. I'm pretty blessed. I have Deontay Johnson in both of those same teams. I have Michael Thomas. So I'm starting Deontay Johnson. I think he's going to be a great start, ending with our blessed Hughes starts just because the volume is there. He might be the number one targeted wide receiver on that Pittsburgh Steelers offense. So I like him. But also, if you're in the listener league, please, if you're playing, I think it's Jose, you're playing Michael.
I am.
Don't take out James White, please, so you can beat Michael Jimenez. James White. I want to let you know, brother, if you're listening, you have James White in your lineup, go take him out and beat Michael Jimenez.
He's trying to even it up so that we're 8-8. By the way, couple of quick other starters, by the way. Kyler Murray, please do something. Oh, my God, you've been playing so mediocre this year. I would start him this week one last time. Anybody for the Cowboys, and Darius Slayton, he's due for a game.
Absolutely. With that, guys, we're going to take a quick break, come back, and we're going to be talking about who you should bench as well as answering your listener questions. Then we're going to talk about waiver wire pickups, trades to pull off, and talk about winning you guys some money with daily fantasy and betting. So keep it locked to ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, 1250 AM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
The Fantasy Gods is sponsored by RDK Advisors. Are you a business owner worried about losing your key employees? Stop the revolving door. Let RDK Advisors create an executive bonus plan to attract and maintain your key employees. Call 210-508-0369 or visit rdkadvisors.com.
Do you ever wonder how long you could make it financially if your paycheck were to stop due to an accident or illness? Visit callclark.com, as you don't have to wonder. The loss of your income could be devastating to you and your family. You could lose your home, automobiles, and other essentials. Don't let this happen to you and your family. You can insure your paycheck for less than 2% of your income. Do yourself a favor and contact Clark Ross with Coordinated Financial Group and learn more. Go to callclark.com to learn how to protect your paycheck today. Once again, callclark.com.
Jason Minix here from the Blitz. You know, in San Antonio, we have some of the hardest water in the country. If your water smells or has an odd taste, call Alamo Water Softeners at 210-274-6122. Alamo Water Softeners is a locally owned, family-run business that offers the highest quality water softeners at affordable prices. Free in-home or phone estimates available. Get clean, soft water by calling Alamo Water Softeners, 210-274-6122, or go to their website, alamowatersofteners.com.
San Antonio has 2 Hop Dottie locations. Hi, I'm Steve Foster. One at the Rim and the new location at the Vineyard, 1301 North Loop, 1604 West. And the initial San Antonio location at 17623 La Cantera Parkway, Suite 101 at the Rim. Different and delicious burgers, but fresh and all-natural ingredients. Hop Dottie also has handcrafted milkshakes and hand-cut Kennebuck fries. So get to a Hop Dottie in San Antonio. When burger is life, life is awesome.
This is the only time you've wanted to wake up with a hangover.
You serious?
The Saturday Morning Hangover with James Pledger and Jack Thompson. Getting you ready for all the weekend's games and then some. The Saturday Morning Hangover. Get ready for a hangover without the headache. Saturday mornings 9 to 11. 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. And on the go at ESPNSA.com. The Coach Jimbo Show, every week on ESPN San Antonio. Brought to you by Airtron Heating and AC, Ewald Kubota, Just Pops, The Roof Hub, and The Angry Elephant. Join Andrew Monaco and Texas A&M head coach Jimbo Fisher, as well as players, as they recap and get ready for each week's games. The Coach Jimbo Show, brought to you by Airtron Heating and AC, Ewald Kubota, Just Pops, The Roof Hub, and The Angry Elephant. 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
San Antonio, how we feeling? How we feeling? Welcome to the church. The church is now open. You're tuned in with the Fantasy Gods. My name is Brandon Big Poppy Medina. That is Michael Jimenez. We are hanging out with you every Sunday at 11. You can go follow us on Twitter. I am at Big Poppy Brandon M. He is at 210 Fantasy God. Go hit up ESPN San Antonio as well on Twitter or on Facebook. We're answering all your fantasy football related questions. And if you can't get to the internet right now, don't worry. Give us a call at the Kia Bossa Bacon phone lines, 210-656-ESPN, 210-656-3776. Michael Jimenez, what a beautiful Sunday we got lined up for us, brother.
Oh, it's going to be a fantastic day. Just relaxing, day off, watching football, have a couple of beers. Going to be.
Can't ask for nothing more.
Yeah,
can't ask for nothing more.
Life is good. Oh, by the way, just let you know, during the break, you mentioned Jose, who I'm playing the listener league. I sent him a text message. I said, hey, you got a player in your lineup that's not going to play.
Wow.
I'm not going to have any excuses for whenever I win.
This guy right here, class acts right here for fantasy football. I love that. That's what I'm talking about. However, when we talk fantasy football, we always got to talk a little bit about the people who maybe we don't want in our lineups, right, Michael? There's always the people like Scotty Miller, who you did play, who should have had a better game than he did. But then there's people that we know just do not have a great either matchup or have not been playing great. Let's talk a little bit about thou shalt bench.
Thou shalt bench.
With that, Jose actually just commented, Michael. He said, such a nice guy. Shout out to Jose, man. Hey, listen, you better beat him, Jose, please. Please. Anyways, with that being said, let's talk a little bit about thou shalt bench. Any players that you do not want in your lineups right now this week, Michael?
It's kind of funny because I'm going to be mentioning some players who blew up last week.
Wow.
Baker Mayfield, Kareem Hunt, Odell Beckham. Huge games last week against the Cowboys. They're not playing the Cowboys defense this week. They're playing Indianapolis, who has the number 1 ranked defense in the league. Both of them going into the game at 3-1. I still think Cleveland has enough firepower to win, but this has low-scoring game written all over it. So I'd say if you have a Cleveland player in your lineup, you might want to reconsider that.
Yeah, I think somebody I'm actually keeping out of my lineup, very surprisingly so, is Justin Jackson. I think he's a risky flex. I think we don't know exactly what the time split's going to be. We don't know how great Joshua Kelly might be. Now, here's the thing, though. If you start Justin Jackson, no problem. I personally would advise against it if you have a better flex option. If you don't, go for it. But here's the thing. Joshua Kelly has not looked very good the past 2 games. Fumbled twice. He's not looked dominant. If you picked up Justin Jackson, you might get, there's an opportunity for Justin Jackson to really take that starting role. Wouldn't you agree, Michael?
I agree. You don't know what's going to be happening with that team. I mean, what we do know about that team is Justin Herbert is now the official starter. We know that he loves looking Keenan Allen's way, but when it comes to the backfield, it's just going to be who has the hot hand. And that might be Joshua Kelly one game, and it might not be him the next week. And that's a very ugly situation to be in when you're a fantasy owner, when you're relying on them. That's why it's good if they're a flex, but if they're your RB2, it's difficult, man.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think another thing that me and you probably do agree on is stay away from the Rams backfield, please. I know it's tough. I know the names seem exciting. We don't know who's going to be the guy. Every single week, it seems different. Malcolm Brown will have his week. Gerald Henderson will have his week. Cam Akers might be back in the mix. It's too much for me to follow, too much for me to trust. I think when there's a 3-headed monster, I want zero part of that, Michael.
Yeah, it's bad enough running back by committee when there's 2, but you put 3 back there. Good Lord. No, thank you. I mean, that's the problem that you have at Tampa Bay also with Ronald Jones. Now that Fournette is back, Shady McCoy. It was looking for a while there like Leonard Fournette was going to be the guy there. He had a huge game early on in the season, and now he just kind of disappeared. Then he got hurt. Ronald Jones had a big game last week. So what's going to happen this week? Would I be surprised if Ronald Jones has 3/4 of the carries and has 20 touches? No. Would I be surprised if he only has 10? No. We don't know what we're going to get with these teams. But the fact of the matter is, we take a look at how who to bench right now, and the one thing that I look at right now is, God, that Houston Texans team is so bad. That Houston Texans team is so bad. Desean Watson, if you have a better or comparable quarterback on your lineup, on your team, go ahead and start them, because I don't trust that team whatsoever right now. And it's so sad because Watson was the number 1, probably the number 3 or 4 quarterback off the board this year, and he's just been a bust.
Yeah, I am one of the unlikely, unhappy Deshaun Watson owners, and I think this is the week, guys. This is the week where if he doesn't show up, start throwing out trades. I mean, obviously, that name has value. Do not drop a Deshaun Watson. That'd be risky and bad on your part. Get something for him. Now, am I saying you're going to get, Derrick Henry for him? Probably not. But you could get a wide receiver 2, maybe an RB2 for him. And with that name, I think it's definitely somebody to look at to possibly trade moving forward, just for the fact that Jacksonville should not be a tough task. If he does not put up at least 21 points, I think it's a bust game. I mean, he really needs to kind of improve. He's had time. This is already week 5. We know what this offense looked like. It's not that great. I know the tight end, I believe it's Atkins, is out. Will Fuller, though, Brandon Cooks, they need to really step it up. So I think this is the week we see exactly what Deshaun Watson is made of.
Yeah, a little while ago I mentioned the Buccaneers backfield. They've already played this week, okay? I'm fully aware of that. But the fact of the matter is I'm talking about running back by committee for future weeks, and that's going to be one of them that you're going to have to monitor. Hey, man, I'm also looking at benching Miles Sanders. Again, if you have another running back that's relatively decent, put him in, because Miles Sanders, though he is very capable of putting up 120-yard games, all-purpose yards. But, man, this week he's going up against the Steelers' defense, and that Steelers' defense has corralled 2 running backs this year to just 29 yards rushing, okay? They've given up 100 yards in one game this year, but that's a tough task. The Steelers' defense is legit. It's a rivalry game. If you have a better alternative, Miles Sanders, again, if you have no alternative, keep him in there. I am forced to play him in one of my leagues. But if there was somebody better, I would have played him already.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we had a question from Self Tanksley actually asking about her previous question, or the previous question of, asking when it comes to that Michael Thomas, Joshua Kelly question, they also have Keenan Allen. I'm all about starting Keenan Allen. I think Keenan Allen is a must start over all those names. Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert seem to be best friends right now. So I would start Keenan Allen over just about any wide receiver. So Keenan Allen is a must start this week and moving forward when it comes to fantasy football. I think Justin Herbert is going to be a big fan of Keenan Allen and vice versa.
Well, his question also was having 2 players on the same team, Allen and Kelly. I have no problem with that. I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, I've started 2 Cowboys receivers in the past. I've started both earlier this year, both Cleveland Browns running backs, with Chubb and Hunt. It's okay to start 2 from the same team. Justin Herbert, he's fantastic. He's going to have a really solid career, but you're going to take a look at the progressions. They snap him the ball. His first option is Keenan Allen. His second option is Keenan Allen. His third option is Keenan Allen. He just looks his way the entire time. We're talking 12, 13, 14 targets. Ridiculous. That's somebody that you're going to want to have in your lineup in a Keenan Allen.
Not only that, Austin Eckler is out. So self-tanksing, my brother, please. Keenan Allen is the move to roll with. Absolutely. So do that. Also, we have a question about Russell Gage or Devonta Freeman. Now, this is a very good question right here. These are those risky flex options me and you really like talking about right here. These are the game winner type of decisions right here. So Russell Gage, no Julio Jones, or Devonta Freeman, who's looking to probably be the main guy there for New York against an awful defense in the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, this is a really great question. Kind of a good problem to have, right? We got to ask, is it a PPR league? Okay, so if
that's true.
Because Freeman is more of a receiving back than anything else. So
let's just assume this is PPR. Are you going Freeman or Russell Gage?
I'm tempted to say Russell Gage because he has had solid games with Julio Jones in the lineup. No Julio Jones in the lineup. All eyes on Calvin Ridley. I would say Russell Gage, and I'm going to say that reluctantly, but I'm going to say Calvin Gage.
Also they're facing Carolina. I don't think it's a tough matchup for Russell Gage to get at least, let's say, 5 for 70 or something. He's going to give you, I think, 10 to 12. Devonta Freeman is a solid back. However, this is his second or third week with the team, something like that. The Cowboys are not a great offense. However, the defense. However, the Giants don't have a great offense either. I think the Giants will be throwing the ball a lot, so Devonta Freeman will be getting touches. I'm going to stay with Russell Gage because I feel like we've seen it from him already this year. We have not seen big playability from Devonta Freeman this year. Also, that line is god-awful, so I just don't trust running backs behind that line. So I would say Gage is probably the safe pick within that as well. However, being that you are my little partner here and you're also a fantasy guy, I have a question for you for me. And don't worry, it's not against you, Michael. I know me and you are in 2 different leagues, but it's not against you. But in one league, I'm absolutely rock solid at wide receiver. And it's one of those blessed to have many options, but very nervous about starting these options because there's just anybody could go off. So I'm going to give you some names. You let me know who you start, okay?
Okay.
2. You could start 2 of these out of all these names, okay? DJ Moore, Devontae Parker, Robert Woods, Hollywood Brown, or Justin Jefferson.
Okay, Moore, Parker, Jefferson,
Robert Woods and Hollywood Brown.
Wow,
I'm happy with any decision, but right now I know DJ Moore is going against Atlanta.
No. DJ Moore was my definite out of there. I would not do Hollywood Brown. Wow, I would say Brown and Jefferson.
So you
I'm sorry. Moore and Jefferson, rather.
DJ Moore and Jefferson?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. That's why I like this. You know what I mean? Me and you on the same page because Devontae Parker is looking good, but San Francisco has been pretty tough against wide receivers. Justin Jefferson against Seattle and DJ Moore against Atlanta. Those are the gimmies of the week, if anything. However, we have one more question before we get out of here. We got Chris asking PPR, Odell Beckham or Stefan Diggs?
Well, Beckham.
Yeah, listen, Chris. I appreciate the question. The question's great, but we don't know what's going to happen with this Buffalo Bills game. Yeah, I'm rolling with Beckham for sure.
Yeah, okay. So all things being, if they were both playing this week, I would lean towards Diggs, but the fact of the matter is they're pretty equal anyway, but we don't know if that Tuesday game is going to happen or not. Do not take that chance. Beckham is a fantastic receiver. Obviously, 3 touchdowns last week. He blew up. That was predicted on the Fantasy Gods last week, by the way. That was my pick of the week was like, hey, blessed he who starts Odell Beckham. But the fact of the matter is Odell is the play, even though he had a huge game and even though he's going up against a really tough defense today.
Yep, that was Thou Shalt Bench. If you have a question of your own, call the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines, 210-656-ESPN. That is 210-656-3776. Or go watch us on Facebook Live and throw a comment there if you don't mind. I'm Brandon Big Poppy Medina. That's Michael Jimenez. More fantasy football on the way. We are going to be talking about passing the collection plate, some waiver wire moves you need to make after week 5, and maybe some trades to make before games get started, because today is the last day to trade for many of these boomer bust guys. And following that, we're talking daily fantasy and making you some money with some bets of our own. So keep it locked. ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, 1250 AM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Cover 3 at Stone Oak in San Antonio is the place to be, whether you're looking to gather coworkers for lunch, dine with friends, or treat your sweetie to a fabulous dinner. This elegant restaurant offers ample seating with comfortable leather booths, tall cocktail tables, along with full-service dining at the bar, or you can enjoy a fun time out on the patio. So come to Cover 3 and experience dining, spirits, and sports.
Cover 3, 1806 North 1604 West, 210-479-9700.
Northeast Independent School District is now hiring and training school bus drivers. Whether you're looking for a new job, you're a retiree, or you're retired military, come help drive students to succeed and apply at Northeast ISD Transportation today. No experience is necessary, and you will get paid while earning your CDL and learning how to drive a school bus. The Northeast ISD Transportation Department is ranked as one of the top 100 school bus fleets in America, and our drivers receive exceptional pay and benefits, including health, dental, vision, and retirement. If you're looking for work, if you're retired from the military, or you simply want to make a difference in our community, apply now with the Northeast ISD Transportation Department. Join our team and discover Northeast ISD by calling 210-356-9229. That's 210-356-9229. Or you can text Drive Bus to 797979. That's text Drive Bus to 797979.
You hear that? That's my kids destroying my house. Normally that would stress me out, but I'm taking a Vicks Vapo bath. So now I'm floating. Plus the husband's watching them. Vicks Vapo Bath crystals are for any time you need to de-stress. Let the soothing scent of Vicks Vapors create a little escape whenever you need it. Which in this household is a lot. So transform your bath time with new Vicks Vapo Bath crystals. Find them in a store near you.
America's Diamond has created a half-hour television program called Buying Diamonds Intelligently. You can see where diamonds are mined, how they're cut and polished, how they're graded, certified, and laser inscribed, and how our beautiful diamond jewelry is made. You can see the show tonight on ABC KSAT 12 at 12:35 a.m. or right now on the internet at americasdiamond.com. America's Diamond is the largest diamond engagement ring store in America. We design and create our extraordinary jewelry right here in San Antonio. Quality for quality, we guarantee that the everyday America's Diamond price is lower than any jewelry store's very best sale price, or we'll refund the difference plus 25%. America's Diamond was voted San Antonio's best jewelry store by San Antonio Magazine, The Current Magazine, and for more than 25 years in a row, winner of the Express News Reader's Choice Award. America's Diamond is the official jeweler of the San Antonio Spurs and of the University of Texas at San Antonio Athletics. See America's Diamond first, 561-1000.
What's going on, San Antonio? The Fantasy Gods are live with you on ESPN SA. We are having a good time here. We are very close to kickoff, just under 30 minutes. Get those lineups set. Get those Denver Broncos and New England Patriots out of your lineup, please. Make sure you fill in the gap. However, with that being said, we come in with a caller on the line. What is going on? We got Bill. Bill, how are you? You are live with the Fantasy Gods. What's going on, man?
Hey, guys. Yeah, y'all been talking about the wide receivers, and depth and all that, but no one ever seems to mention Robbie Anderson, with Carolina. He puts up good fantasy numbers every week, and even when he was with the Jets, he put up good numbers, as bad as the Jets were. So I'm just wondering what y'all's opinion on Robbie Anderson as far as either just your one or two starting wide receiver. Thanks.
Oh, he's most definitely a starting wide receiver. In PPR leagues, Robbie Anderson right now is ranked 9th in PPR leagues. So most definitely he's beyond a wide receiver 2. He's a legit wide receiver 1. It's not a very sexy name because when you're taking a look at that team, this was all supposed to be about Christian McCaffrey. And that all went bust when he got hurt. So Robbie Anderson is one of those sneaky good players who puts up numbers very unsexy because no one watches Carolina football. But no, he's a legit player, and the fact of the matter is that another name that's very similar to that is Tyler Boyd with the Cincinnati Bengals. Again, not another sexy name, but he puts up wide receiver 2 numbers week in, week out. So no, if you have Robbie Anderson, you keep him in the lineup at all times and be proud of it.
Yeah, I agree. I actually appreciate the call, Bill. I think you're right. I think we don't talk about Robbie Anderson as much as we should. And the simple fact is Robbie Anderson right now this year is in the same conversation as an Adam Thielen, Devontae Adams, a star wideout where there's not even a need for us to talk about because you're starting him. It is an obvious wide receiver 1, not even a wide receiver 2, a wide receiver 1. And if you got him later on in the draft, what a steal. An absolute steal.
Blessed he who drafted him late. Right?
Yes, exactly.
Brandon and I were talking earlier this week, just kind of talking on the phone this week, and we brought up the fact that what if we redid the whole draft today, knowing what we know now? A player like Robbie Anderson would have been gone in the 4th round. Fact of the matter is that he probably got drafted in round 8 or beyond. So those are those steals. We talk about it all the time. The draft is won rounds 4 through 8, and it's won through the waiver wire.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Robbie Anderson needs to be in every lineup, especially going against Atlanta. Give me all the Robbie Anderson in the world. Give me it twice on Sunday, baby. However, we have another caller on the line. We got Ricky. Ricky, what is going on, my man? You're live with the Fantasy Gons. What is your question?
Hey, how's it going, guys? My fantasy question is, so I have a choice between Drew Brees or Teddy Bridgewater. I know Drew Brees doesn't have a lot of weapons, especially with Michael Thomas still out. And I know Teddy Bridgewater is playing against Atlanta. So who would y'all pick?
Yeah, great question, Ricky. We really appreciate that one. I think this is a great question. Drew Brees, obviously, Michael Jimenez, my little co-host here, is shedding a tear because he is a Saints fan. I think Teddy Bridgewater is the guy to roll with. I'm going to be talking more about him when it comes to daily fantasy. I think he is a very, very nice stream of the week against Atlanta. He put up a great game last week. We just talked about Robbie Anderson. DJ Moore should be having a breakout game this week. Me and you still trust DJ Moore. And this is kind of the week to either show it or go with DJ Moore. I think Mike Davis is proven as well as a great receiver in the backfield. I truly believe Teddy Bridgewater is the pick this week. Michael, what do you think?
I'm going to go against you on this one, not because I'm wearing literally right now a New Orleans Saints shirt. I have been so wishy-washy on Drew Brees all year long because you don't know what you're going to get with him. He is obviously a future Hall of Famer. He's just been playing a little bit odd. Last week blew up. I mean, fantastic last week. It looked pretty decent 2 weeks ago. So maybe I would go with him because here's the thing. I think this is going to be a higher scoring game than most people give it credit for. Right now, the over-under is 50, but that's going to go 60. Alvin Kamara catching out of the backfield. That's big for Brees. And the fact of the matter is Emmanuel Sanders has finally developed. He has finally been part of the lineup. Traquan's doing well as well. I think you'd have to roll one more time with Drew Brees and just wait for that Monday night game.
Yeah, Drew Brees had a good game last week. I guess it was about a 15-point game. It depends on the type of scoring you have. I know in our listener league, if you throw over 300 yards, it's +3. If you go over 100 yards rushing or receiving, it's another bonus. However, in regular standard PPR leagues, 15 points from Drew Brees last week. Teddy Bridgewater put up 26. He definitely is starting to find his mojo, and that was against Arizona. Atlanta is last place against quarterbacks. I think Teddy Bridgewater is your guy, Ricky. We appreciate the call nonetheless. Obviously, it's a coin flip. Not for me, but clearly on the show, it's a coin flip. I think Teddy Bridgewater might be the guy to roll with against Atlanta 100%.
I'll agree that it is a coin flip, but I'm still sticking with Brees.
Okay, sounds good. However, understand, Ricky, there's bias there, Ricky. You know what I mean? There's bias, Ricky. But with that being said, let's get into our next segment, and that is to say a little prayer.
It's time for the fantasy gods to say a little prayer.
Who's somebody you are saying a little prayer for that you need to go off to win some games today, Mike?
Antonio Gibson. Here's the thing. Finally blew up last week, but it was all through passing, right? Through receptions. Antonio Gibson is that one player for that Washington team that he and McLaurin should be two fantasy gods out there. But the fact of the matter is that Gibson has underperformed relative to what the hype was over the summer. He finally blew up last week, 120 all-purpose yards. He's had 3 games in a row with a touchdown. He's doing fine fantasy-wise, but he's capable of so much more. I'm going to say a little prayer. I actually have him in one of my teams. I'm going to say a little prayer that he blows up and becomes that legit RB2.
Okay, I get that. Someone I'm saying a little prayer for sure is somebody we just talked about, DJ Moore. I need you to show up in some way, in some capacity. Please, you had one game that was even in the top 15. I need DJ Moore to be the wide receiver that we drafted him. He was drafted in the 4th, 5th round, maybe even late 3rd sometimes. DJ Moore is an athletic freak, and he needs to show it against Atlanta. So that's somebody I want to say a little prayer for, as well as a surprise one that maybe a lot of people do have on the teams, like myself. Noah Fant out, Jonnu Smith now possibly going to be out, a bunch of tight ends. It's starting to become very, very dense and thin at the tight end position. Hunter Henry is somebody I have in a couple lineups. I need Hunter Henry to have a good game because he's looked pretty productive. Last week was his lowest fantasy game of the year. I need Hunter Henry and Justin Herbert to be besties for the resties to see what we can do here.
Oh, agreed. And, when it comes to tight ends, Ali Cox is somebody that I'm also saying a prayer for. That guy is just gold in the red zone. I don't know what it is about him. I watch those games.
Well, he's gigantic. He's like 7'5". The dude's huge.
I mean, yeah, they're just throwing jump balls at him, right? And he's catching them down. But the fact of the matter is that I need for him to be more of the offense in the middle of the field, But they seem to take it down the field, get in the red zone, then they look his way. So it's very similar. Back in the day, there was a fullback named Mike Allstott back in the day who would get all the touchdowns but none of the yards. And that's kind of what you're getting with Ali Cox is you're either getting the touchdowns because he's not going to go off for many yards. So I'll say a little prayer for him, especially in daily leagues.
Yep. And then another one I want to say real quick, as always, Justin Jefferson. Let's keep the ball rolling. I know a lot of people, including myself, are trusting him to start over some prime guys like a Hollywood Brown, like maybe a Devontae Parker. You might be trusting Justin Jefferson. He's been putting up great numbers. He looks to be the solidified wide receiver 2 and the solidified deep down threat. So I'm very excited about Justin Jefferson. I hope everybody is as well. So with that being said, I think we need to say a little prayer for him. But now let's get to one question real quick we have from Ray. Robert Woods versus Washington or Jerick McKinnon versus the Dolphins in a standard league. This one I think is interesting because Raheem Mostert should be good to play today. We don't know if he is, but I know the reports have all come out that most likely he's going to play. At what capacity, we don't know. Jerick McKinnon, I believe, is the only player, one of like maybe 2 or 3 that scored every single game this year. Jerick McKinnon or Robert Woods is a good one, especially standard leagues. I think this is a great question. I'm interested to see what Michael says, but for me, with Raheem Mostert back in the situation, Robert Woods would be my pick in this standard league.
This is a great question here. I'm going to say Robert Woods as well. The fact of the matter is we're playing a Washington team that just isn't that great defensively. Robert Woods has been known to go off in seasons past. And you're right, if Mostert's back in the lineup and they're splitting carries, that's something we need to follow probably over the next 15 minutes on Twitter. Is Mostert playing? If he's not playing, go with McKinnon. If he is playing, go with Robert Woods.
Absolutely. And finally, let's get to one of our last segments here. Pass the collection plate.
Pass the collection plate.
Let's talk a little bit about who you're targeting in trades. I already said this earlier in the show. Actually, I kind of gave it up a little too early. However, I think you should be targeting all Tennessee players. You need to be targeting Derrick Henry. You need to be targeting A.J. Brown. If you're struggling at quarterback, Ryan Tannehill could be a nice little bench quarterback. I think those are guys you should be targeting right now, especially with COVID taking over. Somebody might be on full tilt. Somebody might be 0-4. They might be 1-3. You got to test those guys and see if you can get something for them. Maybe buy them on the low. And if not them, I truly believe you could definitely look to get somebody on the Denver Broncos squad or the New England Patriots squad, maybe a Cam Newton if you're struggling at quarterback. He's coming back soon. I think those are the teams I'd be targeting, and target the teams that are losing. You're not going to get great trades from the 3-1 guys or the 4-0 guys. Those guys are very happy where they are. Target the teams that are struggling on full tilt mode.
100% agree. And here's the thing. When you do a trade, you need to look at what are you replacing for this player, right? Especially if you're doing, cross-positional trades. If you're trading a quarterback for a running back or a running back for a receiver, who are you putting in, right? So if you're going to trade a big-name quarterback, if you're going to trade, a Kyler Murray, a Desean Watson, if you're going to trade that type of player, are you comfortable starting a Gardner Minshew, a Joe Burrow, a Justin Herbert? And I would say this, you'd be in good shape if you did, right? So this is the time of the year where maybe we get rid of some star names. Maybe we dangle out there Odell Beckham after he had a 3-touchdown game against the Cowboys. All right, he's not going to play the Cowboys every week. He's not going to go off for 3 touchdowns every week. It's about buying low and selling high, or if you cannot sell high, selling the big name to somebody who covets having a big name and may not realize that they're giving somebody up in return that actually is a net positive for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So definitely look to make those trades. This week is one of the last weeks you can start trading because once guys go off, nobody's going to want to give them up. So definitely start looking at those Derrick Henry type of guys. Now, with that being said, all of that was sponsored by RDK Advisors. And we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about making you guys some money, daily fantasy, all that and more coming up. So keep it locked. The Fantasy Gods are live on ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, 1250 AM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
The Fantasy Gods is sponsored by RDK Advisors. Are you a life insurance agent or financial advisor looking for a new start? Well, RDK Advisors is the destination for independent agents and advisors. Get direct appointments with top insurance companies. You can build your contract, you can own your own book, and be independent. But don't do it alone. Call RDK Advisors at 210-508-0369 or visit rdkadvisors.com.
Texas Spine Care Center and Dr. Adam Brueggemann are committed to treating chronic back pain and helping patients understand and make informed decisions about orthopedic treatment. They focus on using the latest techniques, medicines, and practices to give their patients the best treatment options to manage and overcome pain. Texas Spine Care Center is committed to helping San Antonio find the best choices that will give you your life back. So call 210-941-1785 or go to texasspinecarecenter.com. 210-941-1785.
With United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans, there's so much to take advantage of, like $0 copays on hundreds of prescription drugs.
Wow.
Pick up at your local pharmacy or take advantage of free delivery. To learn more, visit AdvantageWow.com.
Wow.
That's AdvantageWow.com.
$0 copay may be restricted to particular tiers, preferred medications, or mail order prescriptions during the initial coverage phase and may not apply during the coverage gap or catastrophic stage. Free delivery with preferred mail order pharmacies.
Wow.
Pros today have to do whatever the job calls for, and the Home Depot is here to help make that easier. With a wide range of delivery options, you can get what you need, from job lot quantities to small supply runs, delivered where and when you need it. Don't want to buy the tool? Rent it. We've got the most innovative products and more ways for pros to find them, in-store and online. Pros are changing, so are we. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Don't be afraid to do it.
Phrasing?
Thousands of people do it. You'd be shocked to know how many people are doing it right now.
Hey, phrasing!
So come on, you do it too.
So we're just done with phrasing, right? That's not a thing anymore?
Follow us on Facebook at ESPN San Antonio and on Twitter at ESPN_SA. And of course, on the go at ESPNSA.com. 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com. The ESPN San Antonio High School Football Game of the Week, energized by Hill Electric, and brought to you by MomNeedsABreakCleaning.com, Smoky Moe's Barbecue, the San Antonio Express News, and the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Friday, Churchill takes on Madison.
Keeps this one himself. Hurdles a player at the 30, and he is gone.
Pregame is set for 7, with kickoff set for 7:30. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
It is almost game time, and the fantasy gods are with you, hanging out here on ESPN San Antonio. Welcome one, welcome all. The church is open. My name is Brandon Big Poppy Medina. That's Michael Jimenez. Go give us a follow. I am at Big Poppy Brandon M on Twitter. He is at 210 Fantasy God on Twitter. We are also on Apple Podcasts. Finally, we're going to be doing a midweek podcast every week, talking waiver wire pickups, trades, injuries, as well as posting this show right after. So make sure you go check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find podcasts, as well as the ESPN San Antonio Audio Vault. But right now, we're talking about making you guys some money. Isn't that right, Michael?
Oh, yes, sir. Hey, speaking of making money, you need to know who's playing. NBC station out of San Francisco saying both Raheem Mostert and Deebo Samuel are playing today.
Wow, very, very good stuff. So definitely look to possibly tilt or move away from Jerick McKinnon. But right now, let's talk a little bit. We only got a couple more minutes in the show. Let's talk about our daily fantasy lineups. Let's hear your daily fantasy lineups to see where you're going with your money over there on daily fantasy.
Okay, I just put this in right now. Dak Prescott, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Mike Davis, Tyler Boyd, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Ali Cox, Darius Slayton, and the Cleveland Browns defense.
Okay.
It's one of those things. The Cowboys are fantasy gods when it comes to stats. They're on track for 4 wins this year, but they're also on track to have the most points for quarterback and most points for receivers as well as a unit.
Fair enough. My daily fantasy lineup is looking a little okay at wide receiver, but pretty good elsewhere. I have Gardner Minshew, Mike Davis, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So me and you are on the same track RB-wise. I have Russell Gage, Deontay Johnson, Terry McLaurin, Dalton Schultz, Antonio Gibson, and the Rams defense. So that's what I am rolling with for my DFS lineup. Any bets that you're looking to take as we look at over-under spreads? Who's looking good to you today, Mike?
Okay, well, first of all, the over-under in the Cowboys-Giants game is 53.5. The Cowboys have been playing in games that are scoring 70-plus points per game. I know the Giants' offense is awful, but the fact of the matter is I'm going to keep riding that until they get an under. And the fact of the matter is 53.5 seems doable. I also like the Bengals plus 12 at the Ravens. I like the Jaguars' money line over the Texans plus 215. And I like the Vikings covering the spread plus 7.
Okay, man. You know what? You kind of went everywhere I was going to go, so I don't know exactly where to go from there. That's exactly where I was going with everything outside of Jacksonville. I do think Jacksonville covers the spread, not the money line, but I do think Jacksonville covers 6.5. You can always buy points as well. Another one I'm looking at testing is the Carolina Panthers at +2 against the Falcons. I think the Falcons are looking rough. Carolina's defense is on the come up. And if Teddy Bridgewater is looking good, that offense might be a little too hot to handle, especially with Julio Jones out for the Falcons.
Another tasty one. I like San Francisco -8 home against the Dolphins. That San Francisco defense is legit. They're at home. Jimmy G is back. Kittle went off last week. I think that's a pretty decent play as well. And if you're going to be doing a teaser, I'm a little bit iffy on that Kansas City Chiefs-Raiders spread. That's 11 points. I mean, it's not like the Raiders are a bad team. They're a decent team. 11 points is a lot of points to lay on the table.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. There's a lot of money to be made in fantasy football as well. If you're looking for prop bets, I would recommend Monkey Knife Fight. No, that sounds crazy, but Monkey Knife Fight is a prop betting program that I've been using too. That's also very, very nice to play with. If you're looking for prop bets, over-unders on receiving yards, fantasy points, stuff like that, it's a good time. But definitely get those bets in. We are, 5 minutes away from kickoff? I mean, very exciting stuff. Get those lineups set again. Denver Broncos, New England Patriots, get him out of your lineup. Raheem Mostert, maybe put him in. If you're looking at wide receivers, you need to start making those decisions now because the time is coming. What game are you most excited to be watching today, Michael?
From a fan perspective, I like the Eagles-Steelers. I just think they're just going to be beating each other up. The over-under is 44, so they're expecting a low-scoring game, and I'm expecting that too. I think that's going to be fun to watch. It's always fun to watch the Cowboys. They're the best reality show for men on TV. That's just what it is. I mean, it's always fun. If you were to tell me that the Cowboys are going to kill the Giants, I would agree with you. But if you told me that the Giants would beat the Cowboys, I wouldn't be surprised because remember around this time last year, Cowboy fans were really, really, really confident going up against the Jets there. And what happened? Mr. Mono brought him back. Darnold brought him back. And the Cowboys lost the game they should have won. So you never know what to expect. It's reality TV at its finest.
Absolutely. You never know what to expect, but you can always expect the best fantasy advice, the best fantasy news, and the best championship victories you can imagine when you tune into the Fantasy Gods. Once again, go follow us on Twitter. I am at Big Poppy Brandon M. He is at 2-0 Fantasy God. Go follow ESPN San Antonio elsewhere. Thank you guys for joining us. It has been another beautiful Sunday. Go grab that Barbacoa Big Red and maybe a Bud Light 1, 2, maybe 5 or a 6-pack. But have yourself a great Sunday. As always, we end with one little quote. Michael Jimenez, what is that?
May the fantasy gods be with you.